Idaho bans sex change in athletes. Will college ever be the same again? Google is all up in our business. No surprise there. And online gaming is blowing up and on a huge rise. I'm Chris. That's Micah. And this is the Daily Radical.
What is up, everybody? I am excited tonight about the Daily Radical podcast. We have an incredible show for you today. I am Micah, and this is the Daily Radical. If you have yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Spotify, make sure to do that. You can find us on YouTube at the Daily Radical or download our podcast on Spotify, the Daily Radical, or wherever you get your podcast. Chris, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good, Micah. Just another day in paradise, in the land, the land of the self quarantine,
land of lockdown, land of Gavin Newsom telling us to stay home. Feels good, man. It feels good. You guys staying safe over there?
Really good. If it was up to some of them, I think we'd never leave our houses again.
I think they like it this way. Actually, they can control us. You know, a lot of people are freaking out. I had my family, they sent me a video or a picture. I don't know if you see this hoax about the National Guard is here and they are getting ready to. You see that one? Well, like people thought it was real. Like people legit thought that was real. Like the National Guard was going to, I don't know what, like make people stay in their houses or something like that. You know, if it comes out tomorrow and they actually do, then I'm gonna look like an idiot. But it wasn't real. It was all a hoax. And I'm like, no, that ain't gonna happen. It didn't happen.
That's what people were worried about for a little bit when that was mentioned. So the stuff I've read or saw that the National Guard was coming in, it was just to kind of help aid, like just in just kind of not for humanitarian effort to kind of, you know, just be extra hands on deck. So it wasn't like this whole you know, I think it wasn't this whole like, oh, we're gonna come and bring martial law, we're gonna, you know, be patrolling the streets and you know, it's gonna be like, it's not like the Gestapo in like Russia or something like that, to where all of a sudden, you know, it's like, what are you doing?
I think Gestapo was
is it Gestapo? What did I say?
I think Gestapo was, or wasn't that guy in that cartoon?
Wait, I have to look it up. Not gonna look it up. What the Russian mobsters are called here?
Maybe they are. I don't know. It wasn't the Gestapo in Germany? Russia. Maybe I'm wrong.
Russian mob.
What's the? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was the Gestapo.
I don't know.
Who are the? No, they were in Germany. The Gestapo was in Germany, right? Whatever. We got to get a fact.
I don't know. I'm looking. I'm trying to Google it right now.
Well, someone just post in the comments, help us out. Who the Gestapo? I'm pretty sure that was.
I'm messing this up. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was the German.
Is it a German mob? The German,
not mob. They were the, I think they were the private army of Hitler, or not army, but they were like, you know, the Gestapo would come in trying to find the Jews during World War II. They had the SS soldiers. Whoa. Yeah, so they had the SS soldiers.
Okay. I found.
Who's the Russian? Who's the Russian?
I don't.
They had the KGB, right? Is it KGB or KJB? Obviously, as you can tell, our expertise is not world history.
That's what I get for trying to be off the cuff with this. It's a German thing. It's a German thing.
For sure. They were horrible. Anyway, they were the scum of the earth.
Anyway, but yeah, so we're not losing our rights to We're not losing our rights. National Guard is not coming in.
But isn't it crazy how people still will like call Donald Trump like Hitler? I was watching a video the other day, and there was this guy was on college campuses, and they were like, "Who's worse, Donald Trump or Hitler?" And like college students, mind you, were like, "Oh, definitely Donald Trump." And the guy's like, "Really? Like, why is Donald Trump so bad?" And they said, "Well, because." They said something like, well, because, you know, he like, I don't remember what they said, like wouldn't let the immigrants in or something.
He hates the Mexicans.
Yeah.
He hates.
And the guy's like, oh, so that's worse than killing like, I don't know, 6 million Jews.
Committing genocide or attempting to commit genocide.
And the kids were like, whoa, he did that? Like these kids are in college. Like, what's going on right now that we don't know about
this is where education. This is the education.
It's
This
where
is
we're
what we're
at.
dealing with.
It's where we're at, man.
Basic facts. Okay. Like the Holocaust. Like, okay, let me ask this question. Do you think we landed on the moon? Do you think we actually landed on
Of
the moon?
course we landed on the moon.
I don't know. I
Of
think
course we
Paramount
landed.
Studios had a setup and it was a whole conspiracy
Listen,
to beat the Russians
I don't have
up
time for
there.
people that don't think that we landed on the moon. We landed on the moon. You got to
Yes.
get your kids vaccinated. The coronavirus is real.
But
Enough
what about
already.
the flag
Enough
waving?
already.
What about the flag
Come on,
okay,
dude. Like,
I know we landed on the moon, okay? I know we landed on the moon.
Someone's got to get Chris one of those hats that goes on his, what is it? The tin hat? Is it tinfoil hat?
Tinfoil. Next episode, I'll be wearing a
We're gonna rush Area 51.
Aluminum. Yeah, exactly.
All wrong. Like, did you see like that guy? Was it last year? It was late 2019. They're like, we're gonna rush Area 51. They were like building this coalition or whatever. Did you see that? Was I the only one that saw that?
No. Yeah, they're gonna like rush it.
They're gonna rush it, right?
They're gonna rush it and demand the secrets that are in Area 51. It's like, dude, what are you gonna do?
And you
like,
know so much about that. How do you know so much about that? Did you Facebook group or something?
I do have conspiracy side of me. I'm sitting for later episodes once we build a strong fan base, because you're all subscribing right now to YouTube. And I was subscribed to YouTube, and let me put this out here. If you're looking for a podcast to be politically correct, this is not the one.
No. We don't do that stuff.
No, I mean, politically correct. Nah. If you talk, I think the average person, okay, you got to think about this. If you're talking, let's say you have some friends over, you're talking in the living room. A lot of the times is that, if you were to record the conversation, put it out there, people could poke at it. Man, that's not politically correct. You didn't say that right.
For sure.
But it's like, whoa, wait a minute, man. Like, we were in no way leaning towards that type of prejudice, that type of race. So anyway, we're living in a very PC generation.
And I'm only racist at home with my friends. So I don't, I'm not really a racist.
You could be racist because we're both color. So we could be racist.
I can say whatever I want. We can say whatever we want.
Whatever we want, man. Whatever you want, dude.
No, I mean, I think it's just the PC culture is that they try to control everything that you think, everything that you say, which controls, ultimately what you're thinking. Like, somehow if I express a question about something, then all of a sudden I'm like, you're racist, you're a bigot, you're a sexist. Like, no, I'm just talking. Like, we're just having a conversation.
I know,
whatever. Anyway, we're kind of far afield, but all right, let's jump into our conversation today.
Okay, let me check this out. So I just came up a couple days ago, and I just, maybe it's funny to talk about my conspiracy side because I'm leaning towards this right now. But Google, so it's not a big secret, Google tracks everything. Okay, if you begin to read the fine print of when you sign up for Gmail, or you're logging into your phone, or whatever thing that Google's connected with, there is, in the fine print that tells you, hey, we're going to track your information. We're going to record it, and this is for statistics. This is for advertisement. And so it's not a big secret that Google tracks everything you do. And that's a whole discussion. Do we believe in, do we want Google in our business or not in our business?
Too late.
Do I go through seasons where I feel that, I don't want Google logging into my business? I do. The other times I don't care. So Google, during this time, this whole coronavirus pandemic, has been recording the social distancing of all its users. And so it is tracking, Google tracks who you are, what's happening. So they've been tracking and releasing reports on people's movements during the coronavirus outbreak. So they are saying that this tracking of people's movements, like literal movements, what they're doing on day to day, is to help health officials to make critical decisions to combat the pandemic. Also, Google's also saying that insights into what has changed in society since the stay-at-home order has been placed, our policies being obeyed. So right now, Google's taking the information of where you've been, what you're doing, and they're bringing it back to the local governments and saying, hey, these are what the people have been doing during this time. I don't know. What do you think about that, man? They're tracking you to see where you've been. Has Micah been at home in quarantine? Has he gone to Walgreens? Where has he been? So they're where's Micah been? And they're saying, Micah's obeyed this. Micah hasn't obeyed this. So
Yeah. I think it's going to get crazy. Okay, first of all, it's a bigger conversation, but okay. First of
it's
all,
a
do I have a
huge
problem with?
conversation.
Yeah, do I have a problem with them tracking? Of course not, right? Because number one, I've given them permission to track where
True.
I'm at, right? So
True.
I'm okay with it. And even if I didn't give them permission, they can still track where I'm at. Like, let's not pretend like
Yeah.
the government or Google or Facebook or any of these companies, Apple, they don't know everything that we do. If you think the government or Apple or Facebook or Google, they don't know something about your life, you're fooling yourself. They
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
everything. They can access anything about you. I remember a few years ago, it's not a conspiracy theory because a lot of people held to it. Remember a few
Mm.
years ago, going back maybe to like 14-ish, they were like the terrorists down there in SoCal, San Bernardino. They
Yeah.
were talking about how they couldn't open their iPhone and they needed Apple to open the iPhone, like the NSA was saying that.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that was going on?
Yeah.
I didn't believe that for 1 minute. The NSA did not need Apple to open up
No.
someone's iPhone. They needed to set the precedent that the
Yes.
government could force Apple to open up the iPhone. That was going on.
Yeah.
The government knows everything about us. That's number one.
The-
So me,
the-
Google knowing it about us, I don't care because I've given them permission to know everything about me. It makes my life more convenient. This is what we've
Yeah.
done. We've substituted convenience for privacy, for any secret. Like, I don't have anything to hide. They want to know where I'm at. Fine.
Yeah.
To me, it's like whatever. And the moment that we start getting afraid of like, oh, Google's going to know where we're at. Well, then in order for you to truly not like be tracked by the government, you have to go off of the grid, meaning
Yeah. Yeah.
you can't ever use a computer. You can't use your credit card. Every like movie that ever had a fugitive in it, like basically you have to follow those rules. You have to go
Exactly.
cash. You have to get on a bus. You
Yeah.
can't, you know what I mean? Like never purchase anything that's
And
tied to
and
your
and
name. That's the only way.
I went, like I said, went through my seasons where I've been like, okay, I don't want Google to like track me. I don't want anybody to know what's going on. And the steps and the process to get you off the grid, it is so much. You have to be so determined. Like, you have to
Oh
be
yeah.
so determined to be like, okay, I'm getting off the grid. I'm gonna, they can't know my whereabouts. You're basically also saying, now that the way that things are shaped around us is, like you said, the convenience of
Oh yeah.
technology, that you're taking away a huge convenience. So if you want to go like 15 years back, that's basically what you're doing. I don't want, well, then forget Google Maps, forget maps.
Yep.
Okay. You can't,
Yep.
what about, I want to be able to log in. I don't want to write down 30 passwords. Well, then don't have Google save your passwords. And so, um, and I just think it's interesting that they're doing this, and it's actually, it's actually pretty clever. I mean, they're already tracking us, and so I'm not sure where the idea came up with. I know the government approached them, or Google said, "Hey, we have this information," but I think it's super clever that they can actually see our people adhering to these
Yeah.
stay-at-home orders, and maybe even further. Again, as this kind of unravels, is this information help with them to kind of pin down like, okay, these have been hotspot areas for the coronavirus. We've noticed that the retail and recreation location they've been to have been, they've been busy, the transit area. So, and these reports cover, like it says, up to 131 countries, and that includes the entire United States. So it's not just a U.S. thing, but globally, they're keeping an eye on people's movements. And
Yeah.
again, you have those that said, "Oh man, I don't like that." Well, go dig a hole, wear a tin hat, and
Borrow
go
it from
completely.
Chris.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I have a whole like lineup, but um, do we have anything to hide? And that comes down to the big thing. What are you doing? Are you hiding anything? Or are you doing anything illegal? Are you doing anything? Are you just a basic human being?
Yeah.
Um, so it is interesting though. They're using this to kind of see where everybody's at during
Yeah. I mean,
during this time.
it is interesting, and it's a old conversation of just privacy. And a few years ago, that really exploded onto the scene. That's why when you sign on now, you see different, all the websites have to let you know that they're collecting information about you. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
for
yeah,
me, I just have never, I haven't cared. I made the decision a long time ago, like, hey, I got a phone. I want to connect to the internet on my
yeah,
phone.
yeah,
I don't really care. I find it convenient that it will remember where I've been,
yeah.
especially in a city. Like, I know I've been here before. Where was that? Where was that church? Where was that coffee shop? Where was that thing? It remembers like, oh yeah, you were here back in 2009, wherever. I
Well,
just think
well,
that's
well, let me
awesome.
pose this possible question: Are we trading freedom for convenience?
Of course, of course.
You know,
Well,
are we
it's not.
trading
We're
freedom
trading freedom. It's freedom. We're trading privacy
yeah,
for convenience.
privacy for convenience.
Yeah, yeah. But
Privacy for
that's not
convenience.
a big deal to me because, look, if the government ever becomes more, it's. I don't think we have a tyrannical government right now, but the Constitution is built so that if the government ever gets too powerful, that we
Mhm.
can protect ourselves, and we have the Second Amendment. We talked about that. So
With
if that ever becomes a problem, then we have
yeah.
an issue.
Well, I think the government's one thing, okay, but this information, I think where a problem lies that many people are afraid of is this massive amount of data information. Basically, again, all your whereabouts.
Yeah.
I have Wi-Fi in the home. I'm connected, so they know
Yeah.
where I'm at home. I use my phone to get around. That getting into the wrong hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Of
and that's
course.
really up to Google. I think it was, that's what the Google's like saying, hey, um, we're protecting information, having that trust in this global conglomerate, saying, yeah, I trust you with everything. It's really getting into the wrong hands.
Well,
And it has happened.
sure, but you are also giving that company permission to have it,
Yeah.
right? So it's like we are going to them saying, "Hey, we want your service, we want your good, we want what you provide.
Yeah.
Here is our information."
Yeah.
That's we're making an exchange. It's a
Hmm.
marketplace
Hmm.
decision. If you don't like Google, if you don't want them having your information, stop using
So we're
Google.
saying we're saying we're saying I'm giving you the right to, again, the transaction. Like I said, I'm giving you the right to say, hey, use my information as you want to do it. I mean, go to
Well,
advertising companies, because I mean, the second you type in, Nike shoes, all of a sudden Nike shoes pops
yeah.
up everywhere. We know that because the cookies and everything.
Mhm.
Um, but so we're saying, hey, I'm going to trade this for you because the convenience that you give me, and I'm going to trade my information, my data to you of who I am. Um,
For
for
to
this
use
for
it. Yeah.
to
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 use your
you do what
search
you want,
engine,
and,
to
and
use
for
your yeah.
exchange I'm gonna now have this really convenient user interface experience that's gonna help my life out.
Yeah, I mean, how many like Google has changed. I have no issue with it because they're offering a good, they're offering a service,
Yeah,
and and that is their type of payment. Their payment is getting information about the
I
people that are
never
using their
thought
service.
of it that way.
Yeah,
I never
it's
thought
not
about it until
free.
right
Like,
now.
how do they have all like how do they have everything that they have? I mean,
It's
YouTube,
free.
your Google Map. I mean, we don't pay for it, so where do they
No,
get the?
no.
How do they get the money to do all that? Well, they get it
Yeah,
from your information. And by the way, this isn't anything new. It's no
yeah,
surprise
yeah.
that when you go anywhere, you can't buy anything. Like, you can't buy a pair of shoes. I talk about information. We forget about Amazon. Amazon, they
Oh
probably know more
yeah.
than Google, but you stop and think about it, you can't buy anything at a Bed Bath and Beyond, at a Walmart, at a whatever, without giving them your email, without giving a phone number, an address. They get everything they can get out of you. Oh, join our
Well,
rewards plus,
well, you remember, it used to be a really big deal that you gave your social security number. Oh, I remember that everything now
Still is, yeah.
requires the social. It is still a big deal because identity theft, things like that. But uh, majority of stuff will ask you for your social to sign up certain things. It used to be a big deal to
Mm,
hide it. Now it seems that everything you do, and I'll say everything, but a lot of things that you have to sign up for, um, they require social. And I remember I was taught, you hide your social, like, because it's,
yeah,
and it still applies today. But I feel that I give my social when I'm just, application, things like that. But I feel like it's more, we're giving our social security number out more frequently
yeah,
to do things, to where at one time, like 15, 20 years ago, it was like, oh no, you don't give your social out. You keep
yeah,
that, between. I used to whisper on the phone or write it down and tear the paper,
yeah,
in
yeah.
case, someone could misuse it.
No, yeah, I mean, I could probably see that. I mean, it's definitely standard practice now. Any kind of application for a mortgage or, any kind of credit application and stuff like this, you would have to have even a job application. You got to have a credit or a social security, number or whatever. It still is important. And identity theft is still huge
Yeah,
online. You never want to put that information online if you don't have to.
yeah,
One thing I always find this interesting about these people we're talking about, like, the wanting to get off the grid and stuff like that. They don't trust the cloud, they don't trust Google, they don't trust these people, which is fine, whatever. But do you have a bank account anywhere? Like,
yeah,
what I always find
yeah.
interesting is all these people have bank accounts. how do you think you check your account information? Like,
Yeah,
how do you
yeah,
think that
yeah,
you get to see the number dollars in your account? It's
yeah.
it's in the cloud, bro. Like the internet is the cloud. Like if it
It's
is wired somewhere on a server somewhere, someone can access it. Like
if you ever
bottom line.
interesting thing to look up if you get a chance to is looking up server farms. Some of these
Yeah,
huge,
I've
like
seen
up
those.
in
Yeah,
Oregon, Washington,
Denver's
these
got some. Yeah,
yeah, huge
or
server
Colorado.
farms where basically the warehouses and it's full of
Yep,
servers, which
yep,
is the cloud we're talking about. So
yep.
really interesting.
Some of them are
Um,
in Russia too. You guys are
oh, the
concerned about that?
Gestapo! I cannot believe that, dude. I feel
Gestapo.
like someone's gonna comment like, "Chris, you
Get them.
idiot." I
Get them.
jacked it up. Anyway, yeah. So wear a tin hat, go off the
Yeah.
grid,
I was thinking
change your name.
I lost my train of thought. I was thinking, what do they call the secret police of Russia now? I'm like, it's got to be the K. Was it KJB? Was
It's
back in
KJB.
why do I keep thinking KJB is like a Bible translation? That sounds like a Bible translation.
KJV. It is.
That's the
So
King German
okay, now I
version.
remember the Gestapo was the Nazi unit.
Yes. All right, now we got that. All right, let's
Oh
switch
my
gears.
gosh.
Let's switch gears before we
Yes.
completely run off the rails like we already have. All right, this is something that I've been eager to talk about. I am super interested in this conversation. Article came out last week in the state of Idaho. The Idaho governor has just signed into law 2 bills in the state of Idaho that prevent athletes from changing their gender from
Oh
their birth
man.
certificate. The sports bill will require high school age girls to prove their sex through a physical exam, DNA test, or testosterone levels test in order to
Yeah.
participate in high school sports. And to that, I say amen.
Amen.
The craziest part about this whole transgender movement, and it is, I think, a movement because people are just identifying with it and getting on
Yeah.
board with it.
Yeah.
First of all, if you are a transgender person, if you are a person, a man that thinks that he is a woman or a woman that thinks she is a man, my heart goes out to you. I think that you like God still has a plan for your life. God
Yeah.
can still help
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
change all this, and he can get you through that. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But the craziness of all this stuff, and we can have a whole discussion about like what about in Canada where they're forcing people to address individuals by their preferred pronouns and all this
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. We can have a whole conversation about that. But where the rubber meets the road on all this nonsense, okay? And if there's a man that comes to the church that thinks he's a woman and he feels disrespected that I call him a man or whatever, in conversation, I can have a conversation with the person
Yeah.
and we'll be okay. But when it comes to athletics, like when it comes to sports, this is the hugest, the
Yeah.
biggest, if
Yeah.
hugest is the
Yeah.
right word. It's so crazy. It's mind boggling. Like it's a man that thinks he is a woman. He can't participate in women's sports. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any
Yeah.
sense at all. It's crazy. And I could just go on all day about this,
No, no,
but
no.
Idaho finally comes out and says this has got to stop. And I think the sports world was so fascinating. And I want to get your take on it, Chris.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
where the sports world, I think, is going to provide some sort of balance to this crazy
Yeah.
left ideology, because let's just face it, from the church's perspective, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
There's obviously something wrong with someone that is a man that thinks he's a girl or a girl that thinks she's a man. There's obviously something wrong there mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all the
Yeah.
above. But where the rubber meets the road and when it faces reality, it's you're still the gender that you were before you self-identified as the
Yeah.
opposite
Yeah.
gender.
Yeah.
Nothing changes. And so I think in athletics, it's the most pure form of balance. Like men are this strong, women are this
Yeah.
strong, and that's just the way it is. Men run this fast, women run this fast on average, and that's just the way it is. It's not saying that you wouldn't get a woman that could be stronger than a man or run faster than a man. That's not the point.
Yeah.
It's on average, a man is stronger, faster, taller, bigger, whatever,
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
the woman. And that's just the way it is. And it doesn't matter if you self-identify as
Yeah.
a woman, you're still a man. It doesn't matter if you self-identify as a man, you're still a woman.
Well, I think in this whole, and it's a huge thing is going on today. I mean, and I'll comment on this, in the powerlifting world,
Yes.
there's been multiple situations to where what has happened is that we'll have in powerlifting, they have, the men's and women. So what happens is you never see a woman trying to compete in the men's category. And if they do, they're maybe low weight. So, and it's never a big deal because they probably want to place very high. But where the issue is that you have men that are identifying as women and they're competing against other women biologically. So talking about muscle strength, bone density, testosterone, just we can go down the list biologically. It just doesn't. It's no competition. And so the problem was in a few of these meets that with has been an issue. Some of them they didn't catch it till later on, until they realized there's a huge change in the numbers. Is that these women are it's unfair. It's unfair to women. Talk about equal rights and
Yeah,
everything.
of course
So
it
it's
is.
so unfair when you have a man coming in identifying as a woman, even if you begin to take the hormone change, like if you're taking hormones to become women, you're still the still your structure and your strength will 9 times out of 10 times out of 10 completely be above and beyond with women. Now there are a few exceptions, but those are fractions of percentage of where women might be stronger, and if they are stronger they're
Yeah,
only stronger by a few. So this has come up before. A couple of these powerlifting federations has actually after the meet was done and they found out that it was actually a man competing that was identifying, they actually stripped some of the awards away because listen, this
sure.
is not fair. And women have come out to say, hey, listen, like, and some of these are to say, hey, you could do what you want, but this is I've trained my whole life for this. You decided to jump ship and you're completely annihilating me. That's what we
Yeah,
have, you know, WNBA and NBA. There's no
yeah.
way there. That's what we have, So,
Which
um,
okay, and if you just stop there, like in the WNBA, like you have, I don't remember the girl's name or the guy's name, the man's name that plays in the WNBA. I think it's Joyner, something Joyner.
yeah,
Anyway, it's like, wait a minute. Well, he's not the best player in the WNBA, but like he's not even the best like player in the
yeah,
WNBA.
yeah,
So obviously it doesn't matter. No, that just means is not that very good of a basketball player,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he's that much better than all the girls. Like if you put
yeah, yeah,
LeBron
yeah.
James in the WNBA, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh
Right?
my
Like
goodness.
obviously it's not equal, right? And I just have another question though. How many pounds can you deadlift? I'm just curious. Like what's
My
the
per,
max you've ever deadlifted?
my PR is about 505. PR, like personal
What's
record, like
okay.
my own. Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know, 500
So the
is what I.
woman's record is 683. So I think you should work a little harder, and you could be the
So no, no. So 500. So and that's and I'm not defending. I'm fine, but but look at that. See me. I strength train.
yeah.
I'm in no way in any type of regimen, as in like if I was competing. So I'm not
So you're just kind of
competing.
an average
I'm an
weightlifter, like
average. I'm a
yeah,
gym guy. You know what I mean? I'm an average guy. I'll deadlift once, maybe twice a week. So I'm an average guy. You know what I mean? I just go for self, right? So I'm not even trying.
yeah,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
not even trying.
And you probably
Um,
come like pretty close to like the world record there.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and again, like, I'm not even trying, and so you have this person that is dedicated, they're training this and that, and to get that. And for me, an average Joe to come up like, and we're talking high, this is the high level, the high ranking, of powerlifting. So, again,
That's the world
you
record. The
world
world
record.
record deadlift by a woman is 683.
And the
World
thing of the
record.
truth is, which to maybe pop some of your bubbles out there, but you'd be a fool to believe every major sport they're taking steroids.
Yeah, that's true.
Every
Yeah,
major
that's
sport.
true.
So we're talking, and every major sport they're taking steroids. And so let's add that on top of that as well. I mean, a woman taking steroids, they'll get very strong. You get a dude taking steroids, they're going to tear it up. So uh, I think it's funny, like women should be outraged.
Oh yeah, they should be
I think
hacked off
women
about
should
this.
be outraged because you are the best of the best. It's not a question of skill or ability. It's not a question of do you thrive and you're given discipline. but biologically, it just there's a huge difference, and that's the way we were made. That's the
Yeah.
way we were
Yeah.
made.
Another crazy thing to me. Okay, you guys remember a few years ago? I just Googling it really quick.
Now I'm gonna work on my deadlift now. So next time you ask me that question 3 months now.
Chris, dude, it's pathetic, dude. Like, that's horrible. 500, even a girl can
I'm
do
gonna
that.
take some steroids.
You lift like a girl.
Do you? I even lift. Oh.
So, okay, you guys remember this chick? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that offensive? I just
you called her a chick.
Okay, this lady, this
Hey,
lady,
you remember that time in Crunch Fitness, Micah, where
what?
remember? So, hey, don't let all those see Micah there. All those books. He's also this guy. This guy's strong, man. He got the brains and the bronze.
Just covers up. Okay, no, but straight up, this is something that I remember that always hacked me off, and I couldn't figure out why it was such. Okay, back in 2018, there's a lady named, I think her name was, I Googled it really quick, Rachel Dalzell, who she pretended to be black, right? And she was like the leader of the NAACP in like Washington or something. I think that's her. Yeah. I might have gotten the wrong person, but she was leader of the NAACP chapter in Washington. Then it comes out that she's like white and just pretending to be black. But okay. How is that any different? How is changing your either ethnicity or color or race or whatever any different than changing your gender? I don't get it. It's like, if you can change your gender, why can't you change your ethnicity, your color, or your race? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me.
There's you open this.
Why would you change your gender, Chris?
Why would I would never I love being a dude. Why would I change? I love being a dude. Like I love being a dude. So and plenty, it's not like this whole idea, like it's not like women like have this secret envy to want to be men. Like women for the majority like to be women. You know, it's not like there's just, well, it's not fair, it's not equal, like I think it's mental. That's a whole debate. That's a whole debate. Like maybe that's a different episode. But dude, I had a thought here, but I forgot. I'm so fired up about this.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a mental problem. I think that it's a legitimate issue where people, they're not pretending, they're not playing house, they're not dressing up. They literally think it's in their brain. It's meant.
Okay. So the problem. Here's the problem, right? We're having now where parents are there's a group and Micah, you have 2 young children, and you and your wife keep very up to date, just in their lives. But there's a movement happening to where I am not going to label my kid anything.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna say they're a boy or girl. I'm gonna let them decide.
Yep.
We're talking infants, talking babies.
Yeah.
Parents have this crazy twisted mindset that, well, I don't want to tell them they're a little boy, even though they are clearly a boy, because they might want to change their mind. I'm gonna give them that choice, and that's crazy. That's preposterous.
It's bonkers.
It's bonkers that they're thinking this way, and this is happening. And well, maybe they're non-binary. Maybe they're they don't want to identify one or the other. Oh, hey, mommy, this is boy in my class that he doesn't want to be called a boy, he wants to be called a girl. I had a niece come home one time and she told me that. So, but parents putting on their kids that, oh my gosh, I have two young children on the way. My wife's pregnant, so I've been kind of thinking about these things and just how society, so I'm not gonna put that label on them because I don't know if they want to be.
It's crazy. It's bonkers. If you were to ask my son today, do you want to be a boy or a girl? You know what he would tell you? He would say elephant. So technically he would have to be an elephant. Like, yes. We'd have to
I identify as an elephant.
I identify as it is absolutely bonkers. It's absolutely crazy.
It's crazy.
And so I thought that was an interesting story today. Idaho took a stand, and I think we're going to see more of this. There's going to have to be a change, and it's coming to a head. It's going to come to a head, especially in the sporting world. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
no way. That's nuts. So on a lighter note, okay, on a lighter note right here. On a lighter note, so check this out. So everybody has been in quarantine. and everybody's been home. Everybody's been home.
Yeah.
Everybody's been, for the most part, you should be home. If you're not home, Google will know you're not home, and then tell the government you're not home, and then they'll give you a call and say, "Hey, listen, Micah, you made too many trips to Starbucks today.
Yeah.
We've noticed that."
It's
But
true.
recent reports say Verizon has reported a 102 increase in gaming traffic compared to a normal day. Online gaming and all these platforms are blowing up. They're hitting record numbers. Twitch is reporting record numbers.
Wow.
Um, uh, Nintendo, Xbox Live, and other companies have experienced outages as they struggle to expand capacity to meet the unexpected demand. So and we're not talking some rinky dink. We're talking Nintendo, Xbox, Microsoft. And they're having a struggle keeping up with the demand with everybody jumping online. Now, I enjoy video games. I'm not nearly as a gamer as some of these people. I get on there and tear it up. I think it's a good time. I think, um, Micah may agree. City said, he's like, no, I read books. I read all these books.
No, I used to really love video games. Yeah, no, they're awesome.
But this has been on the rise. I'm talking a huge rise online gaming. Again, some of these, I guess I may a boomer, but to where some of these titles like I don't recognize, but online gaming is going through the roof. And I think it's crazy, 102% increase. You're not surprised.
Yeah.
You're not surprised, but I don't know, man. What do you think? I mean, just gaming. I mean, people. That sounds cool, but there's pros and cons, with it. But yeah,
Yeah.
huge increase in the gaming world.
So, okay, I think a lot a lot of things about that. First of all, it's not surprising because people are laid off, right? And a lot of people are
Right.
home.
Yeah.
It's also not surprising because a lot of the jobs that people were laid off from are lower income places, lower income jobs, theaters, ballparks, this
Yeah.
stuff. There's a lot of people that are in entry level positions that are laid off.
Yeah.
Most executive levels, you're working from home, you have your
Yeah.
computer, management level, those are the ones you're going to keep. Everyone it's kind of an entry level, they're going to get laid off.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't surprise me. And a
Yeah.
lot of these people that fill this market are younger by definition, like entry level. They're going to be younger. So they're going to be more inclined to video gaming, that community. I will say this, eventually you do have to put the video games down, guys.
I
Eventually you're
think we
going to
should
have
repeat
to,
that to our
yeah.
some of these
Here's the deal. Like
some of our bros out there. Put down the game, pick
I
up
mean,
life.
eventually you're just going to have to do it. I mean, in order for people to take you serious, you can't play video games all day, like all night. That's just not going to work. I know for some of you are like, no, never, Fortnite
No.
forever.
Yeah,
But I don't even understand
I think we
Fortnite.
might age ourselves here by
I know,
I
I
don't.
know.
Well, it's also
Well, it
interesting.
doesn't age ourselves. It just makes
No.
us successful. That's all that
Well,
means.
yeah. It's here's the thing. We talk about actually all ranges, but I think the average gamer now actually is between the ages, like the main demographic, like who's out there. I used to be like, oh, it's 16-year-old kids, gaming it up, which they do, but actually between 25 and 35. Even up to the
Wow.
40s are the greater percentage of gamers out there. So
Wow.
we're talking adults.
Even
We're
under
talking adults.
18? Even under 18?
If and again, I didn't pull the numbers up recently, but I was watching a documentary not too long ago, and I was very surprised as well that it's a higher percentage of
Wow.
gamers over the age of 25, and that's
Wow.
actually the new. And I'm not surprised because esports is blowing up. We're talking multi-million-dollar gaming teams. You can be a professional gamer.
Yeah.
Esports is on the rise. These these characters of these games have become icons.
Yeah.
It's so esports on the rise, a huge industry. And so with that, I mean, it's become a whole culture. Actually, at a local high school here in Stockton, one of my students had told me they actually have an esports group, and they
Yeah.
are just like football, just like basketball. There's now an esports group. They're starting to compete in these esports games. So online gaming in general is taking over, even to the point. that many of these big companies are announcing that their new products are going to be actually on the mobile opposed to the PC what they normally
Yeah,
do. I
I
think
believe
Blizzard
that.
announced like so online gaming is blowing up, mobile gaming is blowing up. It's become a major part of the culture. And so
Hmm.
it's I'm sure we'll talk more about this,
Yeah.
later on, but gaming is on the rise. But
So according to Wikipedia, which is super, they just said the average age is 33 for men, 44 for female. So that's
wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Twitch, is a huge site to where you can, here's the thing, you can watch other Twitch is all about watching other people game, and you can support them, like send them
Wow.
money. I mean, people have made their careers on this. And so um it's more than
Well,
just,
it's
sitting
crazy.
down on a Friday night, with the Xbox. Now it's become a way of life. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's crazier than I thought. I still I still maintain that you need to give up the video games. It's just kind of life. Well, here's the deal. Like when you're young, you got a ton of time just to waste. It, I mean, you shouldn't, but we all did, and we all, many people still do. Once you get older, you get a job, a career, ministry, family, video games, that you don't have time for that. I mean, there's just no time in the day to sit down. I remember and it was a lot of fun when we were in high school and stuff like that, and even into college. I remember, and I'm kind of dating myself now, but I remember that when Xbox Live was a thing. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
still a thing
yeah.
anymore. And I remember one of the
Halo.
first games that you played was like, well, I remember back far enough back where we played Nintendo 64, and we, after church, we'd go over one of my friend's house. He had a N64, and he had James Bond,
Oh, I
and we
remember
used to
that.
play.
A buddy of
Yeah,
mine had it.
you'd have
Yeah.
4 players on one system, and we'd
Yeah.
all
That
chase
was
each other around and
huge.
shoot each
That
other.
was
Yeah, it was
huge.
awesome. And then you get the whole youth group together, and they're all playing video games. And
I've done a
so
gaming night with some of my youth. We did that
yeah,
once, and I remember my first system was the Sega Genesis way
yep, I
back.
remember
Sega
Sega. I
Genesis,
never
and
had one. I had the Nintendo.
but here's the thing too. Gaming does, which I don't know if it's everybody's situation, but it is definitely a huge escape into another world that's not your
Sure.
own.
Yeah, sure.
If you think about it, like escaping reality. So
Yeah.
anyway, if
Well,
you have
another thing that it did. Sorry, I'll let you do that transition.
no, no,
Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Another thing that it did is, I remember when it introduced, now PC gamers are gonna be like, oh, that's always been there. But I
Yeah,
wasn't into PC gaming. For me, Xbox Live was like, whoa, we're right now we are playing with somebody across the planet. I remember the first time I was
yeah,
playing like a Tiger Woods golf game or something like this, and I remember I was golfing with this guy from England. And I was like, where are you from, dude? And he's like, yeah, man, England. However he's talking, I don't remember how he talked. Anyway, I can't do an English accent, but the fact
Hello,
was like,
England. I can't do my
the
English.
queen,
My
the
English.
queen came on,
The Queen, come on, blimey,
and whoa, blimey, get my
blimey.
tea. And so
Oh,
I just remember it was
you
so cool.
bloody,
You bloody blew it.
you bloody blood, Bertie,
Oh my
Bertie. My
goodness.
wife says anytime I do any accent, I turn into an Indian. Like, oh no. Anyway,
Oh my goodness.
and
Racist.
we might be
Uh,
changing our overseas supplier from China to India.
well, that's a
Trump was
great
talking
thing.
about that.
That's a great thing. Yeah. I mean,
You've been in
anyway.
India too, right, Micah? You've
I
been in
have,
India
yeah,
before.
yeah. Although I just watched a documentary the other day about cobra snakes to freak myself out. I don't know why I did that. And turns out that like the king cobra is like the most populated, densely populated areas in India. It's off like the western coast or something like that.
I'm afraid if I go
I'm
to
never going
India,
back.
if I go to India, they might try to keep me there. They'd be like
Probably not.
you don't look American. I'm like,
You can't
bro.
leave.
I'm like,
You're not going to get
bro.
any attention. No one's going to pay attention to you. Uh,
Exactly.
anyway,
I can go
yeah,
in there and
yeah,
bring the gospel. This all low key. Hey, anyway, if
yeah.
you have not, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Daily Radical, with fresh content coming out every week. We're also on Spotify and anywhere else that you get your podcast feed. Check us out. Ooh, check us out. My little glitch there.
Yeah,
Check us
it's
out
okay.
right now. Stop what you're doing. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the button, subscribe, connect, share, and The Daily Radical with Chris and Micah.
Yo. So let's shift to this. This is the last topic I have today,
I feel
but
like we're getting warmed up. We're just getting warmed up.
just getting warmed up. We're gonna go for another hour here.
Yeah, megathon marathon.
So the last thing I was talking about, I got to thinking, and it's not a story, but so I was thinking about it today. Are any students really gonna ever want to go back to college? I mean, okay, like it sounds kind of crazy, right? But first of all, we're getting through this COVID-19 business. We're not through it yet. And people, hopefully
No.
this podcast gives you kind of an escape. We're just talking about escapism, but hopefully
Yeah,
this does
no.
give you an escape and gives you
Listen to
kind
this
of like a break.
podcast and play video games.
Yeah. Listen to this podcast, play video games, and
Yeah.
do whatever.
Life
But
goals.
yeah, I just wonder though if college is ever going to be the same. If you stop and think about it, a lot of these universities, there's 30, 40,000 students, state schools. They're
Yeah.
all living in these dormitories where there are community showers, community bathrooms.
Community showers.
Well, it's not a community shower, but basically, I mean, it's like a community bathroom. You know what I mean? Like you live a lot of these dorms. It's like two people in a little square space, and the bathrooms at the end of the hall. And
Yeah.
so they have these small little rooms. Everyone's so close. They're jam packed into these classes. Is anyone actually really going to want to do that? I mean, school is going to be coming up. Okay, so the semester is canceled. The semester you're online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next year you're starting up
No
in August,
graduation.
September. No graduations. All postponed. So you're starting up in August, September. Is there anyone that's actually going to want to go back to campus? And I'm thinking in my head, like, this might be the death of the brick and mortar on campus school, higher ed. And it might not be true. That might be like, exaggeration, but I know,
No.
I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of
here.
students, a lot of people that are going to say, I'm not going to do that. Like the coronavirus is not going to be completely gone. Many people think there's going to be a second wave. What's going to happen to college admission? And to me, and I started thinking about that, would that be such a bad thing? Like if you stop at all the craziness that's going on at Cal Berkeley and all these liberal schools, would it be such a bad thing if students said, you know what, I'm not going back to campus. I'm going to take this class online. I'm going to take my schooling online.
Yeah.
And the brick and mortar liberal left wing crazy wackos, it just shut down, man.
Shut
Like
it down.
there was no teacher. Like all of a sudden when your teacher starts going off on a rant about transgender blah blah blah, you could just like turn it down. Okay, let me turn it back up. Is he done yet? No. Okay, let me turn it back up. When you're sitting in the class, you can't do anything. You're just paralyzed. You're just like stuck, like you're trapped. I'm thinking this might not be a bad thing. I'm thinking this might be a really good thing if this completely changes higher education culture in America. Might be a great thing.
I think a couple things with that. I think the first thing, because my mind was like social, like the social aspect. Like, I mean, college, I went to 4-year college, I know you college as well. And a lot of my friends, I met my wife in college, so I think socially, the social aspect, you're right. Could it come back? I mean, there'll be a group that says we're good. All the introverts will be like, no, we're good. Social distancing introverts are loving this time. They're like, yeah, I get to be around nobody. I think socially, we got to think about the college culture that's built there. It's beyond the classroom. Football games, sports, events, so a big part of college is an individual stepping out of home and beginning to take the first steps of life by themselves. I don't know if people are going to be ready to give that up yet. I think maybe we can cut off, maybe some fat will be trimmed off of what's really necessary or not. But I don't know. I think the social is a big deal, especially I think also depends on personality type. Some personalities are like, yeah, I'm good. This is cool. I can learn from here. I'm a super independent. Some people need that classroom structure, that instructor to direct them. So I think the social aspect, I don't think people are ready to give that up. And also depends on the person, of really how independent they can be with education, because some people do great and some people don't. So I don't know. I think time will tell, but I don't know if people are ready to give that up yet. The whole college experience.
Yeah, who knows? I just was stopped and I was thinking about it today. I was like, this could literally change everything.
It could.
Think about, like you mentioned, social aspect. What's it going to look like? Like, are we automatically going to go back to, okay, 100,000 people gathering in the big house in Michigan. I don't know if you
Yeah.
realize this or not.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the state of Michigan, Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, it's called the Big House. That's where they have football, and they fit 110,000. I think they're up to actually
Yeah.
115,000
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
can fit
It's
in that.
packed. It's packed.
Are you saying that we're just automatically going to go back to 110,000 people gathering in an arena, squeezed in? I mean, they're talking about we're going to be wearing face
Yeah.
masks forever, like, which
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
but it's like, I don't think we're just going to go back to normal. So
No.
if
No.
that
No.
social is not going to be there, what's college going to look like, and then give it a year of that, give it a few years
They
of
need
that.
they need bigger stadiums so they can stay 6 feet away from each other.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I
Well,
think
and actually people have talked about, like, okay, what about plane? Is this going to cause the plane, your airplane, are they going to put more space in between
I
seats?
hope
Like,
so.
what's going to
Oh
happen,
my goodness, you kidding me? Like you're
I mean,
flying
it'd be
those little
great.
the little sardine, little spots there. Um, I think I think that I think a lot of people think the same way. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
be 2020 is gonna be such an interesting year. Obviously, we've kicked off with coronavirus, but I think 2020 is gonna be like a. I think we will get back to that point someday, but I think this year, the whole year is going to be kind of dedicated. I think going back in August, some were speculating that in June we're getting back to normal life, and sometime in April, this month that, trying to lift this in-home order. And I think from there, I don't know, the coronavirus didn't come from here. It's
Yeah.
here.
It's a
It
Chinese
didn't come
virus.
from here. Okay. And we talked about this before. This is like the third or fourth virus that's come out of China, out of these wet markets. Um, are we setting up to see this again? Absolutely. If they don't change some regulations over there.
Yeah.
But the question I hand, will we go back to any type of like normalcy like it was 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Dude, definitely not. If not,
Yeah.
if we're in extreme precaution. I'm a youth pastor. We have a yearly youth camp. I'm in discussion right now. I actually had the campground call me today, take a small survey, asking me about 4 or 5 questions, and one of them was, "Are you, if we made different accommodation changes, would you guys come? Are you guys considering coming still? We may do things." So I think everybody's try to do the best they can to head the game to figure out
Yeah.
what the game plan is as
Yeah.
we kind of, I guess, after this is done. But I don't know, man. But I don't know. You as an instructor, I think teachers enjoy teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you think this would take away from it went away from teaching because online, colleges,
Well,
but that student face-to-face interaction um, that's part of it, of the whole college brick and mortar experience.
yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is that it's discipline specific. So it depends on the discipline. It's very difficult to do, lab studies inside on, online, whatever. So
Yeah,
depending on the discipline, you really have to be creative and innovative. So there's a lot of schools that it just depends on, like, how do you teach piano just over online? It's a lot easier if they're in front of you and you can
yeah, yeah,
teach the theory and all this. But so that's one side of it. I do think that for sure the studies have shown the average student in America is no longer the brick and mortar student, meaning
wow,
that
wow,
there are a vast majority of students that are in school today are online, right? And
yeah,
that's due to the surge of online learning. So the average student is actually not an 18-year-old, showing up on first day, move-in day,
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
That's not the average student.
Where their
That's
whole
that's
IKEA
actually the
setup.
minority. Yeah, exactly,
I just
exactly.
got
So
fresh from IKEA.
yeah, one thing though I did see, I saw this in the news today. I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
That teachers they're getting upset. They really want students to be back. Teachers urge government to reopen schools before students learn to think for themselves. I think
Uh-oh.
that's an issue. So Babylon B reported that today. Actually, I think it was a few days ago.
Babylon
So
B.
yeah, I mean, I think
Think
that's an
for
issue.
themselves.
People can start
I like how
doing
they got this like hippie looking liberal teacher on the cover there. Well,
so. Yeah.
well,
Anyway.
you know what? I've been doing my own digging recently as well, and I think I think we got a bigger issue at hand here. And let me
Oh.
see here. It looks like, yes, right here. Um, let's see here. Millions of women outraged as essential oils business deemed non-essential.
Don't tell my wife. No, don't tell my wife.
The non-essential essential
oils.
oil is not essential.
It's the non-essential essential oils.
It is the non-essential. So, those of you who well, give me an hour, give me 2 hours and I'll pitch to you why it's essential.
Dude, those essential oil ladies, I mean, I swear it's like a cult, bro. Like that's like they swear by that. Lavender Falls, Iowa. Yeah.
Well, actually, it says here as I read the article, some violent women are even creating essential oil Molotov cocktails to throw at government buildings. They don't do any damage, but it makes the place smell nice.
Oh my goodness.
I usually the show could only contain one Babylon Bee article, but
keep them coming.
It was a pressing time. You know what? Going back to something we talked about. We talked about community showers. Like, I got a thought about community showers
on that essential oils.
I got a thought. So, we've stated that we're UPC. That we're Pentecostal church. So a big part of the culture is yearly camps. Camps, and do we have youth camps? They have younger kids. Camps, Crusader camp. But then they have family camps, and I think it's really funny. And when I was in college, I went on I think about 6 college tours. I have a record of not a record, but I have 6 college tours. So I think it's funny how these. So you got a family camp, right? Let's picture the scenario here. You got a family camp, and some of these camps, you're all staying in one big dormitory. Okay, if you got a trailer, you stay in the trailer. But a lot of the times, you have families in there. The father would be with the sons, and you got some saints that you see every week, dear elders.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's such a game changer when you go from every week seeing them in suit and tie, and then you see them walking down in a bathrobe or a towel. You got to share a shower with them. You know what I'm saying, Micah?
Awesome. Yeah, no, I
you grew up in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, awesome district, awesome camp meeting. Went to family camp every year, youth camps, all that stuff. It was definitely a different moment.
And I've been to Wisconsin campground, and they have community showers.
Oh yeah, no, and it was worse. Like, you think those were bad? Like, I remember when there was last time I was there, they've renovated a lot since I was there when I was a kid. I remember when there was like nothing but a curtain that separated everybody, and it was like
talk about social distancing.
There was no social distancing.
I know, right?
And what was worse is you never wanted to be in the center stall because the water and the soap from all the other everything would drain to the center of the one. So you never want to be there. You get like water and soap of the man next to you, the men next to you. Like, it was horrible.
I feel like it was such a gamble if you didn't bring flip-flops. I feel like you're gambling.
Flip-flops, you couldn't know.
You were gambling with your life.
Have you ever had another man's shower water hit your feet?
I was hoping it was water.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm telling you. So you got dear old elder Joe that you see every week. Open the door for the dear old saints, and here comes family camp time, and dear old elder Joe served in the war, so he's not bothered by so all of a sudden it's like then all of a sudden you gotta see him a whole new light, and let's say, and I'm getting not any disrespect, but I suppose we're like you're sharing a stall, you're 2 stalls down from your pastor, or you it's just like, well, no way, dude.
I can't do that anymore. I believe there's too many.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you.
One thing I would never worry about bringing soap or shampoo, because people always leave stuff all the time. Like, so I just feel like, all right,
until the one time they don't, and then it's
yeah, and so
then it's fresh.
Just talking about, and then you got that one guy anyway.
There's always a kid. There's always a kid that never showers all week. Like, there's always one. Oh my gosh! Dude, and it stinks. Like, it stinks to high heaven, and like, dude, like it's so bad. But yeah, community showers, man.
I'm going to start naming off like the worst showers I've ever been to.
What I think we should do is we should do like a survey of all of our camp meetings, and from the best showers to the worst showers. You know, Wisconsin they've upped their game big time. I haven't been back there. Someone, if anyone's out there listening, like you can send me some pictures. I'd love to like see what it looks like.
Well, make sure the showers are empty first.
Yes, make sure that you don't. Hopefully that shouldn't be said, but no.
I know.
No, but it'd be awesome.
Is he? Yeah, there's
a lot of districts that have gone to renting out facilities, and I just think that's kind of cheating. You know what I mean? Like,
California doesn't have a campground, and we do our own camp every year. We gotta rent the campground, and it is so expensive. Yeah. It is so expensive. So. But I've been in a lot of state-owned campgrounds and
district. You mean district?
Sorry. So yeah, district campgrounds. Some are really nice, and some are just like.
What was the best one you've ever seen? What was the best one?
You know, I always bring up Michigan camp.
Yeah.
Like now the facilities were nice. You know, they were nice, pretty standard. But I had a great time. At Michigan camp was always a blast. I can't remember the youth president. This is back in 2000 and. I think 2009 is my first camp. 2009. So I went twice, and then another really nice one was actually this renovated was Minnesota. They did they had a nice setup.
I've been to Minnesota camp.
Well, the guys' dorms they redid. Oh, the guys' dorms redid, and then probably
I think we need to do a top 10. Best
Arkansas
UPC
is really
camp.
Nice too.
I think we need to do this. Okay, coming up next week, we're going to do a top 10 of the best UPC camps. If you know of a good campground, if you want yours listed and repped on the show, make sure to send it in tdradical@gmail.com. Post it in the comments. I think we need to do that. I think we need to make that a reality.
Yep. tdradical@gmail.com. Send us an email if you got photos.
Put it up, post them on in comments. Yep. Comments, Instagram, whatever. All right, Chris. I think that's all we got. You got anything else?
I think that's it. And this is show 5, right?
Episode number 5.
This is number 5. We're 5 episodes deep in this thing, and
5 million to go.
5 million to go. We're having a blast. We're having a blast, man. But no, man, I'm good for today. I'm gearing up for next show already. I'm already got some thoughts in my mind, but.
Good. All right. If you haven't subscribed yet on YouTube, make sure to do that. If you have not downloaded the podcast on Spotify, make sure to do that as well. Also follow us on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. We drop a new episode. We're trying to do twice a week. We're so excited that you've joined us for the Daily Radical. That's Chris. I'm Micah. We'll see you guys next time.